Hello, everybody out there. Tonight is the second race in the round of three that will decide the championship four. In elite racing, we got the Byrd Racing 150 at Fontana. It's brought to you by Elite Racing and SMRI Productions. And we are live on the Elite Racing Network as we are getting ready to grid up and start here. Looks like Ethan Burrell is going to be on the pole. Tate Lytle is second. Trevor Elam third, Garrison Hogan fourth, and Josh Adams is fifth. Joining me tonight in the booth is Nick. What are you expecting to see out here, Nick? What do you think we're going to see? We've seen fuel mileage, tire strategy. It all usually finds a way to be involved in the finish here at Fontana.
Yeah, I tuned into that to our truck race, the elite truck race last night here at Auto Club. Kind of trying to get an idea what to expect going into tonight, and those things are pretty racy. So I don't know if I'm not sure if we'll see the same thing here. Usually, I think when we come here, it's either tends to be either one lane track up high or low. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys are able to spread out and use the whole track tonight because there's a lot of room out there. This wide Auto Club Speedway. Or if it'll kind of be, a parade around the top, parade around the bottom. I'm not really sure.
Well, typically what we see here, and anywhere where there's multiple lanes, is the outside lane usually is more abrasive on the tires. We'll see if that pays out tonight. But like I said, Burrell's on the pole tonight. He comes in as the point leader. A pretty big gap. If a solid race, he's going to go the next week feeling pretty good. Where it would take a lot for him to not make it. But everybody else is really tight there with Tooker, Fody, Tate Lytle, Garrison Hogan, Hank Steinmiller, Jeff Green, Chad Frankenfield are all really tight. Josh Clark is probably the only one I would say is in a must-win already. So, what are you expecting to see tonight from the playoff driver's perspective?
I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. I think Ethan's just gonna go out and do his thing. He's up there already. I would kind of expect the same thing from Tate. I think those two, starting up front, especially if you give those two a good starting spot, they're gonna be pretty tough to beat.
I think what we've seen here in the playoffs at tracks like this, these bigger mile and a halves. I know this is a 2 mile track, but we've seen Chad Frankenfield be very strong. He's a guy who's on the outside of the playoff bubble right now, under the cut line. He might run pretty solid, and then you got a guy like Josh Clark, like I said, is like in a must-win. We'll see if he can maybe play some strategy. Not a very good qualifying run as we are green, and Ethan Burrell is off. Great start for Ethan here. It's going to get away by at least a car length, maybe more. Tate finds his way into second. The battle's for third. Looks like already the second lane's pretty good. 29 to Trevor. Looks like he had to lift off of two. He's going to drop from third. He might not be in the top 10 by the time we get back to the line. Well, Nick, it's looking pretty single file up there in the first 5, 7, 8 cars. Just like you talked about. And it looks like the inside, whether there's just not enough grip to get off the corner, people are loose, or the draft on the straightaways, whatever it is, Trevor Elam has dropped all the way to ninth, and he is still on the bottom. Really struggling there to start for Trevor. That's not the start you want. When you qualify third, you think you're going to have some track position, and you give it all up in the very first lap. It's pretty devastating from in the car.
Yeah, definitely not the way he wanted to start this thing off. But yeah, you're right. Kind of getting all single file here for the most part. Compared to last night, I was watching a little bit last night. Gerald and his wife on the broadcast did an excellent job. Part of our Elite Racing Network team. But yeah, it was pretty racy. They were racing hard for the lead, 2, 3 wide, dicing it out. But it looks like this one's been pretty tame so far. These guys are going single file.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody. I knew Josh was just struggling. He's the only guy I really talked to, but I didn't get too deep in it and ask him what the car was doing and whatnot. A lot of times here, the racing will get better as the tires wear and get some comers and goers. You get to move around a little bit. So hopefully they don't stay single file for too long. We can start seeing a few different lines work. Looks like we got the 56 trying to work underneath the 2 here off the 2. Gets back in line behind him. Tate moving to the bottom. Is he going to let him go, or is that? It looks like he's just letting him go. Tate's just going to move down and let him go.
Yeah, that's an important playoff spot for that 56. I mean, we saw him and Chad trying to have a tough week last week in New Hampshire, so 56 is really needed a good race here tonight, and that 2-car Tate Lytle's, the one he's racing to get in.
Yeah, I think Tate moved down there to let him go, and it just, everybody's so close. He ended up giving up another spot, and now he's got Fody here side by side with him.
Yeah, 56 even looking for the lead here. Just made the pass for second, looking for first.
Fody just about leaned up on Tate there just a little bit. Chad's going to dive to the inside into turn 3 here on Tyler Fody.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm one of these guys, pretty much everybody up here in the top 5 or 6 is, our chase competitors. I think it would be going through my mind that, Chad had a, rough week last week. He's going to be, nothing really to lose, you know what I mean? He's trying to work his way back up there in the points, make it into the finale.
But Chad's only about 10, 12 points or so behind, 4th place, which he needs to get to. So, like I said, he's not in I think there's only one guy in a must-win, and I don't think it's Chad. As rough as New Hampshire was for Chad, it's not a must-win yet.
Yeah, but, I think Chad, looking at his windshield right now, he sees everybody he's racing right there pretty much in the playoffs. He's got to beat every single one of those guys, I think, are in front of him in points. So he's got to beat all of them to get, make his way into the Final Four. So
Tyler Fody has moved up the track a little bit and had a big run off of 4. But with Chad Frankenfield underneath him, he couldn't pull to the left. We'll see what happens down here. Right on the back bumper of Tate Lytle. A great 3-way battle for the 4th spot right here.
See Chad, the lone wolf down there on the bottom, trying to make it work.
Yeah, from what I can see, it looks like it's pretty hard to get the drive off of these corners when you got somebody on your outside. We've already seen Fody kind of experiment moving up, trying to get a better run. We'll see, maybe as we go further, people start moving up higher and higher. Chad's pulling right up to that left rear here in the middle of the corner, though.
And I don't know if, you've had the same experience here, but, whenever I run here in these cars, you try to commit to that throttle coming off the corners, especially off 2. You're pretty much wide open, and then all of a sudden the thing wants to kick the back end around and slide around, and sometimes can be a handful, especially when you're pinched underneath somebody like Chad is right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. And another thing, this is a place where it doesn't seem like it matters what car it is, how it drives. Like, this is a place that tire wear is always very, very important. It's an easy place to kill the tires, but when you save your tires, you are so much better that second half of the run, and just it makes a difference here so much more than other places that we race.
And I think, this track, being as strung out as it usually gets and as wide as this place is, I think you got to expect long runs here tonight. I mean, you got to conserve your tires and shoot for a long run. You can't be, going 100% right out of the gate, expecting some short runs, because this is typically one of the tracks where you don't get those that often.
Yeah, I wonder, if we're going to get up to the wall. I know that this is a track that over the last year, iRacing has went through and they've updated, a few tracks here and there at a time, 1 or 2 maybe each build. And this is a track that they added some grip to. Like, a lot of people call it the fake grip or whatever you decide you want to call it. But this is a track that up by the wall now has, supposedly the same grip as down at the bottom. So do you think we will see guys get up to the wall tonight?
I, the way it's looking right now, I don't think so. I know when iRacing first, tried to make the multi-groove come back and improve it a little bit, that the top was overpowering. You see everybody running the fence up there, but they kind of realized it was a little too overpowering, so they took that away, and now, we're pretty much all back to the bottom here tonight.
I hope for the sake of the race that we do get moved up through there a little bit. It was so much fun to race here when you could run anywhere. Somebody will try it. At some point, somebody will try to move up by that wall.
I don't, if we do see it, I don't think we'll see it in 3 and 4. I think it will work in 1 and 2 would be the corner where we'll see it work.
As these guys are already, look at this. Nobody's going right to the bottom right there. You saw that on the shot of on entry there. Everybody's really staying out wide on entry. They're creeping up. The lane has already moved up in the first 12 laps. The lane has already moved up about a full lane to the corner. Nothing, everybody's running close, but there's really been no big position changes. I think Weeks and Campbell have kind of went back and forth a time or two. And if you missed it last week in New Hampshire, Gerald Campbell, Tate Lytle had a little skirmish there at the end. And when we went off air, there was a discussion about whether Tate would be penalized or not. And the initial reaction was, yes, he did get penalized, but over the week there were some conversations had, and with everything that went on, they rescinded the penalty. Everything was clean. I know he and Gerald talked it out. We'll see if that continues on to tonight, but as far as penalties from last week, there are none. And obviously they're both running and up towards the front tonight, so we'll see what happens. Looks like Brandon Key's trying to make a move back there behind Gerald.
And you see, looking at the fast lap compared to their last laps, I mean, the pace has already fallen off over a second here, first 13, 14 laps. So tire wear definitely going to come into play here tonight.
Brandon Key's a guy that we don't typically get to talk about too much. Such a great looking car. Maybe tonight he'll get it up towards the front and we'll be able to talk about him more through the night, but it looks like he's already shoving the nose there through the middle of 3 and 4. Oh, he's in the wall just as soon as we talk about it.
It's that announcer's jinx.
Hopefully he didn't hurt the car, but you could see that in the middle of the corner that the car was shoving the nose. And he, totally sat there and missed the bottom. See, hopefully he caught it more with the right rear than the right front. It didn't look like it was too hard of a hit. You can see there,
he's already a good shot of it right here.
Yeah, he's already half a car length too high.
I don't know. He hit it pretty good. Right front fender's crinkled a little bit. If he wasn't tight before, I'm sure he will be now.
I think that's the reason he hit the wall, is because he was tight. He might have just hit it again. I'm not sure. He lost a lot of momentum this last lap off of 4. It's got Jeff Green and the C2 freight machine underneath him. So we're looking back here at the wall contact. There it is. Look at him. He's up in that 4th, 5th lane. Nick, there it is. We're seeing it.
You might be able to defend up there, but I don't know if you can make passes up there that easily. We'll see.
Is he going to go up here again?
So far, he's able to defend.
Jeff Green, that C2 freight machine. Hopefully Jeff can have a good run tonight. C2 freight, one of the
a little bump draft here.
Longtime sponsor of Elite. Yeah, look at that. 2 cars are faster than one. Hank's going to get in there on it too. Going the wrong way here for Brandon Key after he made a pass and moved up towards the top 10.
So far, biggest mover has been the 8 car. We're looking at him. Josh Robin started 15th up to 11th. Not too far in front of him, we got 28 of Vincent Isabella. Started 14th up to 9th. So a couple guys working their way up there.
Yeah, and one guy that won't show up on our scoring as moving through the field, but who has, Josh Adams was penalized at the start of the race, and as I talk about him, I believe he just might have hit the wall. He started at the very back and had to move his way through the field, and it looks like that right side on his car has got some damage.
You got some voodoo magic going on tonight, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just going to quit talking about these drivers out here. They're all hitting the wall as soon as I start to talk about them.
56 still pressuring our leader, Ethan Burrell, not letting him get away.
They're all still right there in the line, but nobody's really passing anybody at this point. Ethan,
top 3 are teammates too, right?
Got Tooker. Another car that's kind of joined this battle now is finally driven up to the back of this front little group is Matthew Weeks. He's driven right up to the back bumper of Chad Frankenfield. Got some bump draft going on here between second and third. Tooker's going up there a little bit. He's going to run that second, third lane right there. Big run off that top side for Tooker.
Yeah, I believe, never mind. I corrected myself. I caught myself before I said it. I was going to say, I believe Matthew Weeks is the only Pro Edge car not in the top 5, but Vincent is back there at 9th. So, the whole team running the top 10, though. Still impressive.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It looks like these first, 7 cars or so? The first 7 cars have driven away from everybody else. That's from Ethan Burrell back to Max and Weeks. And Burrell has moved his line up too. This line's already up, a little bit more here.
It's kind of, you got two packs right there on the screen. You got the top 6 or 7, and then you got another little pack of 5. Led by the 31 of Gerald Campbell back there.
I do think if this stays green, it's going to be a one-stop race. From what I'm seeing, it looks like they can go about 25 more laps or so. So that would definitely get them inside the window to make it. Yeah, you can make this a one-stopper if it stays green. I guess the question is, when do you want to make that stop? What do you think, Nick? When would you want to pit?
Tate Lytle making the pass on Tooker here. Man, I don't know. It depends what where I'm running. If I'm, say I am the 40 Tyler Fody running at the tail end of this pack right here, Chad Frankenfield, I maybe want to try to pit a lap or 2 sooner than this lead pack here. I think. I'd rather be on the defense than the offense. But, maybe if I'm, back here running, tail end of the top 10, outside the top 10, maybe I'll stay out a little longer. Hopefully I can catch a caution.
I think if I am out here running, as long as I'm not somebody that just has, ran the tires off, I want to run at least past halfway. I want to make the last run shorter, because I feel like if we get to a green flag stop, we're probably not going to get a yellow. So I don't want to put myself at a disadvantage for the last half of the race by pitting earliest. Right here, we've got the furthest the 56 has been up on the 37 right here. See if he can make this pass. It looks like he's easily going to make the pass down into 1. Whether Ethan kind of lifted early for him or not remains to be. Obviously not. He's trying to get the crossover going on. Oh, they just about make contact. Now
I think.
Tooker's going to be pushing on the 37 right here. Are we at Fontana or Daytona?
Oh man, 56 pinched him, going in 3 right there. It got real tight. But I think right now what I'm seeing, I think the 56 and the 2 are the 2 best cars out there right now. I think Tooker might be in the conversation as well. Because Tooker's usually good in these longer runs, but I think the 37 might be falling off a little compared to the rest of the guys in this pack.
We got Gerald Campbell on pit road here. You just saw that on our shot.
I wonder what his strategy is.
I don't think that's one stop. He did not run far enough to make it to the end from here.
Looks like I guess he's gonna 2-stop it then. I don't know. He was part of the broadcast last night. Maybe he saw something, learned something on the broadcast. And he's flying out there right now. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. I'm not real sure about the strategy with this one. But like you said, he watched the truck race, so maybe he knows something, that we don't know. It looks like Ethan is really struggling right now.
I mean, right now the pace has slowed down. We're almost 2 seconds off what we started at. So Gerald coming up pit road there, he should fly by these guys in the next lap or two. I would assume. But I don't know. Maybe it's worth 2-stopping and having the fresher tires throughout the whole race.
I mean, we'll see. I just don't think you're going to cover that ground because everybody else is going to probably pit in 20 laps. I don't think you're going to... I think the only way that this works out for Gerald is if they get a caution not long after they pit. Like, everybody pits, and you run 5 or 10 laps, you get a caution before they catch it because he's going to have a big lead. I think he'll have a big lead.
He should, I think, but... Gerald not in the playoffs, so he can play these strategies. Go off sequence compared to that's these guys that are in the playoffs, trying to weave his way through these guys right now as we go on board. You see how big
something happened to Josh Adams. I'm not real sure what. He just flew down the pit road. Oh, he disconnected from the server. Not a good night for Josh Adams, but he was not in the playoffs, so.
Yeah, see some right front damage on that thing.
Gerald's getting ready to unlap himself. Matthew Weeks is going to pit.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at that. I mean, unless these guys can't 1-stop it.
They should have been able to.
A lot of these guys.
Sure. Looking at the numbers I was looking at.
A lot of these guys coming down pit road, so. I don't know, Chris. You punched the wrong number on the calculator over there?
I was looking at some live timing and scoring on some pit cycles, so the only thing I can think is maybe they really chunked the tires.
I mean, you see how far Gerald's pulled out already on this lead pack. I mean, he's not even in the picture right here. And he just pitted 2 laps ago.
Yeah, the numbers that I was looking at, you can run about 45 laps on fuel. So the only way I think you're pitting right now is if you have really hurt the tires. Like, look at that 56. That looks like he's hurt the tires.
Matthew Weeks comes out pit road in front of the leader, so he's able to stay on the lead lap. I believe he's on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think so.
But, I mean, looking at the times, I mean, Gerald Campbell, 2 or 3 laps out of pit road, 42.5. And then, our leader, Tate Lytle, 44.1, so 1.5 seconds faster.
Yeah, but if you're one of these front runners, if you run another 5-6 laps, that's all you need to make it on fuel, and they should be able to get there easy. I just don't see the benefit for these guys pitting so close to the fuel window. I'll be surprised if I see any of our championship contenders pit much before halfway. None of these guys are going to put their season on the line and hope that they get a caution later down the road or have to make a extra stop. As we have a bunch of cars that are going to be blending out here, so we'll see. This is the stuff that kind of typically creates a caution. You got guys that are on fresh tires that are really fast, guys that are on old tires. Then you got guys that are on fresher tires, but old tires compared to the guys that are on fresh tires. So we'll see exactly what takes place here.
I was running on board with a couple guys trying to see if they're saving fuel, maybe because maybe they got to stretch it, but it doesn't look like anybody is right now. At least on our lead pack.
Yeah, I don't think that the fuel is the problem with making. I just think they might have thought that they killed the tires. Yeah, they should be able to run about 45 laps on fuel, and that's pretty solid. Oh, we got a caution.
That shakes up a lot of things. Trying to see where it is. Like
They can run about 43 to 45 laps, give or take.
It's like the 46 Ryan Barbieri bring out the yellow right at the finish line somewhere. So see what happened to him. Oh, 32 got in the wall right in front of him. It's a 32. Dustin Dewar smacks the wall and just Ryan had just nowhere to go.
Alrighty, Nick. This is going to be interesting. Those guys that pitted, are they going to stay out? Are they going to have to pit again? How's this going to work? And based on the numbers, we are going to be just outside of the window to make it on fuel. Like right at it. So this caution couldn't have came at a worse time for these guys. They would have rather seen this thing 5 laps earlier or 5 laps later. Where we're at, it is going to be 47 to go when they leave pit road, and 44 to 46 is the window.
It's gonna be close. I think if you're one of these, if you're Gerald Campbell or Matthew Weeks, you came down pit road 5-6 laps ago. I think you got to come back down. I don't think you can stay out there on old tires and potentially get a long run and dig yourself a hole here. I think it's a little too early.
They only had 3 sets in the pits at the start. They already used 1. Are you going to leave yourself with 1 set of tires left for the last 45, 47 laps and not bank on a yellow?
That's a tough call, man. I don't know.
I think if I'm Gerald Campbell, I'd stay
right
out.
On pit road. Looks like Gerald's coming down.
Yeah, it looks like Gerald's coming down, but I think I would have stayed out. You're not racing for the playoffs. Matthew Weeks did stay out.
And he came down pit road a little bit later than Gerald does, so that might not be too bad. I believe he's only been out there for. I think he's been out there like 4 or 5 laps. So
this is going to be very interesting with the fuel. Do you come back and top off? I'm one of those guys that I would probably, if I was out here, I would probably top off at 1 to go.
If I'm in the back or towards the back, I think I come in and top off. I think if you're up there leading it, I don't think you can give up that track position.
I don't like to tell our cameraman what to do, but I am going to tell you this right now. Where's that 63 car at? If anybody is going to make it on fuel, that's the car.
Looks like Scott's telling us in chat 39 to 40 laps was the fuel run in the trucks. So I think a little longer here tonight, a little more off throttle time. I don't know if the fuel tank's bigger, but
Hank's already looked at. Yeah. He's already posted. I'm telling you, if anybody's going to make it on fuel, it's going to be this car right here. But yeah, I was looking at some live scoring there from one of the cars on track, and I can tell you without a doubt that it was about 44 to 46. It just depends, obviously, on what that driver's doing with brakes and stuff.
Well, since we got a second, and we might not get another chance tonight, Chris, you want to give a chance to shout out our sponsors?
Yeah, we got Jeff Green, we got C2 Freight out here tonight. Do a lot for the league, big sponsors. We have, like I said, tonight's race is the Byrd Racing 150 at Fontana. Elite Racing, SMRI Productions. We have Blue Egg Marketing and Response Energy. They all have came on board and do a lot. I think C2 Freight is going to be back next season. I don't want to say anybody else because I'm not sure. I'd have to ask. I don't talk to Chad enough to get the full deets. But yeah, it should be a good finish here. It's been a great season here in Elite. You know, we try to take care of all our sponsors. Thank everybody who's watching. Scott Crump's out there watching. My question to Scott would be, why aren't you out here driving to try to come talk to us here after this thing?
Yeah, won
So
it last night.
Looks like, yeah, and trying to win that truck championship over there as well. I know the truck, title fight's getting pretty tight over there. The Cup title fight's getting pretty tight. I believe we go to Nashville this week on Wednesday. And then, like you said, the Elite Racing Network, we had Gerald's wife. You know, she's doing some broadcast, and it looks like Weeks is the only guy that stayed out, and he's going to be in control. Will he be in the top 15 when we come off of 2?
Looks like Fody picked up a couple spots down pit road too. Comes out third car out of pit road, starting fourth right behind Weeks. So we'll see how these tires hold up on this 11 car. 5 laps older than the rest of the fields here.
I don't think it'll be very good, if I had to guess.
He might be all right firing off. You know, tires already heated up. Doesn't have to search for grip for a lap or two. But I think after a couple laps, I think the 4 tires will prevail.
He's sitting out there right now, so I am already surprised by his ability to hold on to this track position. So we go 3 wide back there. It looks like Burrell might have lost his momentum off of 4. I'm getting word that Ethan might have hit the wall.
Looks like that right front might be pancaked a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's not... Man, he comes in here with the biggest gap of anybody, just needing a solid night. He was doing exactly what he needed to do, and now he's going to go smoke the wall.
Battle for the lead down here. Fody looking the inside of Weeks. Those 4 fresh tires on that 40 car getting a little loose.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how much the 11's going to be able to fight. Like you said, he had some heat in the tires. Maybe wasn't as low on grip coming off the corner as everybody else at the start. But as they get their tires heated up, it looks like you want some fresh ones.
Where was he running before the yellow? He was running like 7th or 8th, somewhere 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere back there. So
he was part of that group of 6 that broke away.
It might still be a net game for him here. You know, you catch a yellow here in a couple laps. Did Tate just blow up? I thought I just saw smoke out of that 2 car.
I believe he was letting Booker go.
I swear I saw a puff of smoke out of that thing down there.
I think the only smoke you saw is whatever you have in your room there, seeing smoke come out of that 2 car.
Hey, you know, sometimes you just go down there and accidentally downshift, you know. We've all done it. Right, Chris?
I think you're the only one that I've ever seen who accidentally downshifted a car at speed. How'd that work out for you?
It worked out great for me, not so great for the engine. I was able to go home a little early, get it loaded up on the truck, get home for everybody else.
Yeah. It's not what you want tonight. We got a yellow. We got the 3. It's the 3.
And I'll tell you, this is
Haney.
Great for Matthew Weeks. Looks like no damage on that 3 car, though. Interesting to see you look back at what happened here. Now, if you're the rest of... Looks like side by side with the 8. Talked about him earlier. Josh Robin. Oh.
Just some contact.
It's like just a 2-car incident, though.
Oh, Josh Robin. I believe whoever that was in that red car might have went up there and hit the wall. Is that Talon? Is that Harrison Talon in the Bubba Wallace car there? It looked like he might have made a pretty aggressive reaction as the 8 came back up in 3 and 4.
It's like a little netcode might have started that thing, and then I think they were going to hit anyway, but netcode definitely triggered it, looks like. Luckily, nobody else hit this 8.
It looks like a lot of lag. Let's see here.
Ooh.
No, he did not hit the wall. Oh, maybe. Did he? I don't know. I lost him behind the graphic.
Interesting to see who comes down pit road here. I think Weeks is definitely coming.
I think everybody's got to come. You're in the fuel window now. I think everybody's got to come.
Yeah, looks like everybody's coming back down. Big break for Matthew Weeks. Ethan
Somebody
Burrell has
stayed out.
damage.
We had some people stay out. Was that Chad Frankenfield?
Ryan Barbieri, 28 of Vincent Isabella up there. Looks like, yeah, 15 Chad Frankenfield, 1 lap led.
Not sure about this call for Chad staying out. Everybody's in the fuel window right here. This caution probably going to let you save and be good on fuel, but now you're going to be behind on tires. I just, man, that's a tough call.
Yeah,
Do you like the call, Nick?
Man, I don't know. I mean, Chad's not that far out on points, but I think it's,
I definitely
a little early for a
feels
Hail
like,
Mary kind of thing.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I don't know if I would have thrown this Hail Mary right here. Like, this is not. He doesn't need to, for one, and for two, like, it just. Now you're the only guy that's done it.
I know it's tough, when you're running in 6th place or whatever, and out of your windshield you see all your championship contenders and competitors that you got to beat. But man, it's tough to just do the opposite of what they do at this point in the race. We're barely halfway, just hit halfway.
Well, I believe he kept 5 or 6 guys out here with him. We'll see if anybody decides to pit this time. But those guys really don't matter when it comes to Chad. Like, Chad's racing, not that those guys don't matter. I don't want to say anybody out here doesn't matter. But Chad's racing something different than what, Vincent Isabella is. Chad's racing a group of guys for points. And he's the only guy that's in that group of guys that are racing in the playoffs that has made this call.
Do you think he has enough fuel?
I think the yellow shouldn't be like they came off pit road with 47 to go. This yellow should put him on the money. I'm 85% sure this yellow is going to get him the fuel. But now you're behind on tires. I just don't know.
Well, he'd be ahead on tires, right? You got one more set than everybody else.
Well, yeah, if you put it like that, yeah, but I mean, what's the scenario where he's going to use that extra set at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
if they run 20 laps here, everybody's going to pit again, and that'll put you inside right at 20 to go. So then what? You're going to run 10 laps and be the only guy that pits? With 10 laps on the tires, you're not going to pass everybody.
So that was a 5-lap run right there, about what we had earlier. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think best case for him, you run 6 laps, 5 laps, 6 laps, and then get another yellow. But then you pit, you're going to be coming from the back.
And we saw with Weeks that the tires, while they did make a difference, it wasn't huge.
But got a whole new set of faces here coming through 3 and 4.
And he's gone. He gets a great start. His best friends are the 6 guys he kept out there with him. Great start there.
Whoa, Chris, I think you're ahead of us here. We're still coming through 3 and 4, man.
Yeah, Nick, I think you're behind us.
Am I behind you? I don't know where I am. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, we're out of 2. Never mind.
I love you, Nick. It's awesome.
I don't know.
Here we go. We got Fody's coming through on tires now. They've gotten around the 24. Coming up on the next group here, we got the 46 and the 28 there. Big run there for Fody. Chad and Gerald have kind of gotten away.
God has a good point in chat. Scott Crump in our YouTube chat says that he doesn't think the people that came in took tires. They just came in topped off on gas. You think that's the case?
No, they all took tires. All of them took the tires. Took 4 while they were there.
See how quickly the 40 of Fody and our leaders before this yellow are able to work their way through these guys that are up here. But Chad got the bonus point for the lap. lap lead, that could be huge. And catch a yellow here. I mean, things might be looking pretty good for this strategy.
Well, I think if you're Chad, you don't want to catch a yellow right here. If you're Chad, you don't want to catch a yellow until the 40 gets to you. You want them to use their tires up, because then, if we get a caution at let's say we get a caution at 50, 55, these guys are going to have to decide if they want to put their last set on, and that'll give Chad a chance to jump on offense. If a yellow comes out now, you have to ask yourself, did we even run far enough where it's going to be an advantage for me to have tires? Some great battles, though. This is really kind of giving some guys some track position over some guys who took tires. So we're seeing some great side-by-side action here on the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, you see the 46, Ryan Barbieri. We just saw him wreck about 20 laps ago, and he's up here running, was in the top 5, back to 7th and 8th now, but...
A little bit of 3 wide action, it looked like, for just a second. I'd say Hank was pretty disappointed that they got that yellow there and made everybody good on fuel. Chad's still out there. Fody's up to P4, I believe.
I mean, Fody's only been running a 10th quicker than Chad, so, how important is that clean air going to be? I mean, some tracks you see it's really important. Here, I don't think it really comes into play a whole lot, but maybe tonight it's playing a factor.
Well, I also think there's 2 different kind of strategies being played right now. You have Chad and you have Gerald and Vincent there, the top 3. They're kind of not trying to save a whole lot of tires. Their objective is to keep the track position and hope we get a caution in the next 5 or 10 laps. Whereas if you're sitting there and you're Tyler Fody or any of those guys that pitted, as we see a 3 wide battle here, that's Ethan, Brandon Key, and Barbieri, who is back. The 46 is backing up as he's one of the cars that stayed out. But if you're those other guys, you're thinking, these tires got to get me to the end of the race. So maybe Fody's sitting there running just a little bit harder than those guys are in front of him. Just hard enough to stay there and make sure he takes care of his tires. Whereas, like I said, Chad and Gerald, they're not banking on going to the end of the race on these tires. Fody's been just sitting right here for a couple laps right behind the 28. We'll see if he finally decides to make the pass as the 56 is closing in just a little bit. Kind of surprised not to see Fody not try to pull out and take that pass right there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, like you said, if he's either saving or maybe it's just not as easy as we thought. I mean, the tires are only 4 laps newer, so it's been 7 or 8 laps since we've gone green, so maybe tires starting to equalize a little bit. It's getting tougher to make these passes.
Yeah, I just think for this place, I just don't think so. I think he's just taking it really easy.
I don't know. Would you be taking it easy right now, and you got all your championship competitors in your mirror right there?
Well,
they're quick.
As the 56 closed up to him, he made the pass, and he's already driven up to the back of Gerald. So, those couple laps he sat there and really took care of him, that'll help the longevity of the tire life. As you can see, he's already, 56 gets clear to the car behind him, and what's Fody do? He's all right, I'm gonna go ahead past Gerald Campbell right here. Gerald not going to give him any extra room, but yeah, see, look at those tires. As soon as these guys got to him as a group, as soon as Fody had to go, he's gone.
I think you're right. All of a sudden, he's looking like Just flip the switch out there.
Yeah, just but that's a masterful job. That's why Fody has won so many of these races. That's why he's won some championships, because of his ability to sit there and be patient in fourth and say, I can sit here for 3 or 4 laps and just run the pace that these guys on older tires are running. And then as soon as the 56 got to him, he was like, okay, I gotta go so I can keep my track position over the guys that pitted with me. Now these guys are all getting passed, obviously. Gerald's backing up, Chad's backing up.
And how about Weeks? I mean, that strategy worked out for him. Like we talked about earlier, he was running tail end of the top 10, like 6th, 7th place, and now he's up there making the pass for 3rd, so hanging in there. Strategy worked out for him.
The cautions fell right for him. The cautions felt like he needed them to with how he pitted and where he pitted. And not only that, he was fast already. He was part of that front group of cars, so it's not like he lucked into some track position. He had speed already, so he just got it on a little different sequence to try to get some track position, and it worked out. And now you're sitting here, you see Chad, struggling, Gerald struggling. These guys right now is the time they want to caution. They've went far enough where it's a decision that these other guys would have to make if they want to put their last set on. But for Chad and Gerald, it would be easy. You're coming down and getting 4. If it gets to lap 60, 58, 60, then it's pretty easy for everybody to just come in and pit again. And so now you're losing track position, basically, that you would have had. It goes back to that pit stop. That was not the right decision, I don't think. How it plays out from here, we'll see. But Chad throwing that Hail Mary was probably not the call he's going to cost himself more points tonight, I think.
How about Jeff Green and C2 Freight Machine? I mean, we talked about him a little earlier, running just outside the top 10, and he's in the top 10 looking for 7th, trying to work his way up there in the top 5, perhaps.
Jeff's a great driver, 2000 Busch champ. He's figuring it out, iRacing, figuring out how to run fast in speed car. He's always up towards the front at these speedways, and here he is tonight, right at the front again. And he's one of our playoff guys. He came in here tonight 7th, but just about, 7 points off the cut or so?
Yeah, he's right in the battle, too.
9 points. Looking at the points here now, he was 9 points behind Tate Lido in 4th. And so he's having a decent night, but the guy that I just mentioned, Tate, he's in front of him. So Fody's in front of him. Tooker's in front of him. Garrison Hogan's. So it's having a good night, Jeff is not having a bad night at all. But everybody that he needs to make points up on, they're in front of him. And the guy that's behind him is Ethan Burrell, and he's right behind him. So it's kind of just still sitting where it is, maybe giving up some points, even though he's running solidly in the top 10.
But the big thing last week, RC going out there and winning that race at New Hampshire, nobody's locked in. So, Ethan has a bad night, gets involved in a wreck here. I mean, everybody's right back in it.
And we saw Ethan hit the wall already, so we'll see what happens. How it plays out from here. Ethan was a top 3 or 4 car, and now he's back there and, he's got some damage. A car that I'm watching that's a player up here now, and I talked about him earlier, Hank Steinmiller. We haven't talked about him too much tonight other than when we referenced that he can make it on fuel. Well, here we are, and there he is. It looks like he's got some great pace in that car. He's right on the back of Tooker.
Yeah, started 21st, so I think he's definitely our biggest mover of the night, 21st to 6th, so.
And this is a very Hank Steinmiller type of racetrack, tire wear, a bigger track. We've seen him run really well at Atlanta. This is a place where I think if it stays green from here, Hank might be the guy that could win this thing later. Obviously, right now, Fody's in control. You got 56 behind him, Garrison Hogan, then you got Matthew Weeks. Kind of the same thing we saw earlier with the small little breakaway. And just to put a bow on it, Gerald Campbell is back to 11th. Chad Frankenfield is back to 9th. And I look for them to probably keep losing track position as we go. And you also have to question the fuel. They didn't come back to the pit road when everybody else did. And the fuel was really tight. And I feel like they should be able to make it on fuel with that yellow, but not coming to pit road, you have to question, will it be close? Maybe, sputter in the last couple laps. And with the tire disadvantage that they're on, how far back are they going to fall? So we see Weeks making the move here on the 56.
Yeah.
He's going to make that pass.
Weeks looking pretty good. A couple battles further back, too. In 18th, we got Brent Jones trying to work over Josh Clark back there.
See if Weeks can do something with Fody.
Little blink out of Tooker, but I think we mentioned in New Hampshire, though. I wouldn't be surprised that, anybody up here can win this race, but, like you mentioned last week, Tooker, when it comes down to the end of these things, he always seems to find that extra 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second, go up there and challenge, even when he might be running, 5th. Not terrible. He's always seems to be up there, but he always just seems to dig a little deeper and find a little more when it comes down to, the wire here.
Oh, yeah, I've not came across the guy on iRacing. We got Gerald Campbell has decided to pit. So he is, he's coming off pit road right now. We'll see if. Now you have to wonder, could he have made it on fuel? Is that what that pit stop was? Because of fuel? Could he not make it and he just decided, I'm just going to go ahead and come in now? Now you have to question Chad. Is Chad going to be good on fuel? That makes me more concerned about Chad. The fact that Gerald went ahead and pitted makes me more concerned about what Chad's got going on. But like you said about Tooker, I don't think there's anybody else in the sim that I've seen who will run 3rd, 4th, 5th all race, and then you get down to the last 20, and all of a sudden he's the car to beat. It seems like it's every week. Tooker always finds 3 or 4 more spots at the end of these races.
And one thing our winner last night, Scott Crump, mentioned in the chat here is Jeff Green. He ran well last night too, finished 3rd in the truck race, so maybe he learned something here, picked up a lot of spots already, so maybe he learned something last night that he can use here coming to the end of this thing, pick up some more spots.
Yeah, we'll see. Jeff's the guy that's been running closer and closer to the front. He's a playoff driver. Who's to say, he's not out of this race yet tonight either. And kind of a home race for Jeff Green on Wednesday night in the Cup Series. I don't believe Kentucky was on our schedule this year, so Nashville is going to be about as close as it gets to Jeff there. So, maybe he wants to have a strong run at Nashville Super Speedway on Wednesday night in the Cup Series. Scott Crump there in the chat will probably be one of the guys to beat as well. He seems to be pretty good in that new next Gen Cup car. But we do have a new build coming out tomorrow, so we'll see what that changes when we unload in Nashville on Wednesday afternoon.
Is that where we go, Nashville? I don't even know anymore. I thought there was something else on the schedule. I thought we were coming here.
Yeah, you've been telling me we're going to Auto Club in the Cup cars for 4 weeks. I don't think we're going to Auto Club in the Cup cars at all this season, Nick.
I swear it was on the schedule. I think Chad changed it. He heard me say it on the broadcast, and he changed it up on me.
But yeah, everything is pointing to Nashville for Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. We got a great battle going on for second, but Fody's kind of out there in an island.
Yeah, Gerald, new tire, trying to work his way through this. Probably going to take it all the way up to the wall here.
Yep, he's going to be right on the outside of Fody when they come off a 2, possibly. No, he's not going to get there. That could have put Fody in a spot where he had to lift and could have brought all those leaders back together.
And coming to 15 to go. I mean, you're kind of coming down to the wire here. I think, if these guys have anything for Fody, I think they got to start showing it here, especially if you're, in 4th, 5th, 6th back there. I mean, you got to work your way up there. If you've been saving anything, I think it's time to start showing.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here. It looks like, Hank's still sitting back there.
Tate's starting to close up on Fody a little bit here, down to about 1/10 of a second.
You think we've seen our last yellow?
I don't know, man. If I were leading, I would say no, but with Fody and Tate out there, I think it's spread out enough right now. I think we've probably seen our last one.
Yeah, I didn't mean to open an old wound there. When I asked that and then you said that, I thought about Dover there last week. You had that thing won, had us a long green run, and then with 10 or 15 to go, just taken right away from you.
It always seems, you think you have the thing wrapped up, and coming down 10 to go, you get a yellow somewhere in there. But I don't expect that to happen tonight. I think we're, spread out enough. I think everybody's, separated. Should be all right.
It looks like Chad is about as far back as he's going to get there in 9th. I mean, unless he has to pit. If Chad has to pit, he's going to give up a ton of spots here at the end of this thing again, just like last week where, he was that last yellow. I go back to that pit call, and we both said it when it happened. That was not what we would have done. I just think that was a bad decision to try to throw that Hail Mary. You didn't need to throw it. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to do what he did, and now, 9th is going to be worse than what he's ran all night. 9th isn't a terrible finish, but Chad ran top 5 or 6. He had the pace to run there. And if it finishes how it is, 9th, he's going to give up more points. But then even with the fuel, we're not sure if he can make it on fuel. If he can't make it on fuel, he's going to end up outside the top 20.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of compare it to kind of you're down by 7 in a football game, and you decide to go for it on 4th down, and then you don't get it. It's a little too early to do that, I think. You still got a chance to come back and have a shot, but, you get that 4th down, you convert on that 4th down, man, you look like a genius, but, if you don't get it, it's going to be rough the rest of the game.
Yeah, down by 7, and you're 4th down on your own 20 with 4 minutes left in the first half. That's kind of what I would say that was. You had all the rest of the race to make up, the little bit of deficit that you were at. And you just, he probably, let's say he threw away 3 or 4 points. If it finishes like this. If he catches a caution, he's going to get a chance to try to race for some of that and maybe get some of it back. But my biggest concern now is fuel. I don't know if he's saving. We'll have to take a look here and see if he's even saving fuel. Fody's still sitting out front here with 10 to go. Tate and Garrison Hogan. Chad's not coasting at all as far as saving fuel. He's not shutting it off at all. So that tells me he's either good or he's off enough where he doesn't think he could save it if he tried. So
Yeah, I think the good thing for guys like Chad and some guys that are just outside of the bubble, like Jeff Green and even Hank Steinmiller, I think right now it's looking like somebody in the top four is going to win this race right now. The way it's running, Fode's in the top four, Tate's in the top four, Hogan's right there, but it's not somebody in eighth place going out there and winning this race tonight and shake up the points on you. You're going to be in kind of the same spot you were coming into tonight.
Yeah, but when you look at somebody like, let's look at Chad. He's given up more points. That's 4 more spots next week that he has to make next week. Like, he could have been 4 spots closer if he would have just stayed on the same strategy. And now here we sit. He gave up, 4 more points. Just don't know. I don't know about the call. Looks like Hank's going to make the pass on Weeks here.
It's another important point for him. I mean, he's right out on the bubble. Tied with Hogan for 5th. 3 points behind Tate, so, it's pretty tight. This whole playoff picture right now, so every point matters.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, Tate's, while he's 4th coming in, Tate winning kind of increases the gap at that bubble spot. Like, he's going to jump up, and so somebody with 3rd place points is going to be the 4th place guy. So that does kind of increase that gap that the guys under that cut line would need if he were to win. And Tate just wants, he wants to get into the next round and just be done with it. Obviously. Yeah, that would increase the gap 6 points. It's 6 points between Tate and Fode coming into tonight. If he's somehow able to make this pass for the win, then the gap would grow 6 points between what would be the 4th place Tyler Fode and 5th place Garrison Hogan. It would grow by 6 over what it is.
Coming down to 5 to go. Tate's kind of hanging in there with Fode. It's been about 0.2 of a second in the last 5 to 10 laps, but hasn't really shown anything, a look to try to make the pass. So it'll be interesting to see if Tate has anything for him here.
Yeah, at this point he's too far back for Fode to even worry about if he pulls out to make a look or anything like that. He's just. And one thing I go back to for Fode, we talked about it when he came out of pit road, and you said, "Oh, he's just sitting there in 4th. Is it that hard to pass?" And I kind of said that he was saving tire. This is the point in the run where what he did there gives him a little tire life. So that was a great maneuver, great strategy, great patience. As I don't know if he had to crack the throttle off the floor, but Tate is driven right up to the back bumper of him down here into turn 1. Might see a great battle to the end. They've kind of separated themselves from the 56 and the 19. But if they get side by side for a lap, that'll bring 3rd, 4th, and 5th right into this. Looks like Tate's able to get a little bit lower than Fode is. Three to go at the line. And I don't want to go away from this battle, but kind of got one ear in there for Chad to see if he's going to make it on fuel as well. Be a big point swing in the playoffs if Chad cannot get to the end of this thing. Tate's able to just get turned to the bottom a little bit better than Fode again. Better run off of 4 again for Tate.
It's that draft down the front stretch. I still think.
I'm not sure what happened there off of 4, but there was some contact, I believe, between the 63 and the 19. We've got the 56. He's went up to the fence. He must just be searching.
Oh, yeah, look back at what happened here out of 4. He took her on the outside of Hank down in there, and it looks like Hank came up a little bit, maybe squeezed him in the wall just a touch.
Here we come. White flag. Tate's as close as he's been. Can Tate make something happen here on the last lap? This is for the ticket. The
I
winner
think
of
if
this
he
race will get you right into the final spot and clinch a spot in the final four.
he's got to get a run here though to set him up. Doesn't look like he's got it. I don't think he's close enough unless he moves him.
Here they come out of four.
Almost in the wall, but
Tate is going to finish second. Fode's going to get the win, and Fode is going to race for a championship.
a great clean race by all these guys up here. You know, all of our chase competitors, nobody really have a terrible night. I mean, everybody pretty much finished in the top 10 that's in the running for this thing.
Yep. Chad did make it on fuel, finished ninth. We got Tyler Fode, Tate Lytle, Garrison Hogan, Hank Steinmiller, David Tooker are your top five. Weeks, Green, Burrell, Frankenfield, and Nadel, the top 10. Great run by Tyler Fode tonight. Great strategy. Tyler Fode's going to burn him down here, Nick. So all our playoff guys finished in the top 9 with the exception of, I believe, Joshua Clark finished 22nd. And he came in a must-win, and it's going to be a must-win next week as well. Obviously, nothing is going to change there. I will go as far as to say I think at this point, Chad is probably in a must-win as well. And we're joined by Garrison Hogan, P3 tonight. Take us through your night, Garrison. Still right there on the playoff bubble. You know, with Fode getting the win, that's the first of our four to clinch through. Burrell's probably pretty safe going into next week. So take us through your night and moving forward to next week, what you think you need to do.
Well, a majority of the night, man, I was just kind of, I mean, mad. Like the car is so tight here. And I wish that iRacing didn't make it so tight because it would just be better off if it was driving off the right rear. But that's okay. I just knew from the race and how it was going, you just had to try to save your right front as much as possible. But at the same time, you had to get the track position. But it's a game of cat and mouse out there. And, you have some guys who are very capable of saving their tires really well and still being able to keep pace. And it's just hard to get through that traffic in that last restart that we had and, be able to save as much as you want. So Fody did a good job of getting to the front and he was able to save. I tried to really save more than him and I couldn't do it. I just ended up saving too much. And then when I tried to go, it was way too late. And when you try to push and get the gap back, you're just going to burn up your right front. But on to next week, it doesn't really matter now. It was a good points day. That's all I really cared about. Next week, my home track, Atlanta. Um, that means a lot to me. So I definitely will be trying to win that race. I'm very excited to go back there and do some racing. Hopefully, the setup doesn't kill the right front, though.
Yeah, another great run for you tonight, Garrison. I know it's got to be kind of frustrating though when you have all these great runs and all your championship competitors are up there finishing around you. I don't know where you'll shake out in points. It looks like you'll be right on the cut. How you feel next week going into Atlanta?
I mean, mile and a half tracks. Those are my tracks. So I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. I'm just gonna go out there and do what I'm supposed to do. Um, that was the main thing I didn't really do for most of the season. Like I said, I was just out here to have fun. So I'm not trying to take this seriously. I do that for like 8 months out of the year. So just coming out here to have fun. And at the end of the day, winning the championship here would be nice. But if I don't win, it's not going to be the end of the world. So I'm just gonna support my teammates. They all did well, Tate especially. So hopefully we keep up the good run there with Pro Edge and the whole team.
All right, Garrison. Well, it was a solid run tonight. Hopefully, you can come back and talk to us again next week. But you referenced a good points night, and while you didn't lose a ton, I think by my math, you lost at least 1 or 2 points to the cut line, finishing third, which is kind of devastating. But anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, like I said, my Pro Edge team, they got some great guys over there. JD Designs, I know I don't shout him out much, but in his card design, it was amazing. I just did the Landing Castle Challenge and first 2 rounds and the Daytona Last Chance qualifier that we did. And he got a lot of airtime, so glad I was able to do that for him. My team, Dead Zone, you guys for broadcasting, Chad, and all the guys who put on this league. Thank you guys so much.
All right, Garrison. Thanks for coming up and giving us a minute of your time. Come back and see us again for the end of the year.
You bet.
Now we have Tate Lytle up here. It's a couple weeks in a row after the dramatic finish last week at New Hampshire. It's a lot more tame this week. We were kind of maybe expecting to see you try to get to his bumper there going into three there, Tate, but take us through your night and solid points night. Going to stay above the cut line. Only gained a point or two though because Garrison finished right behind you.
Yeah, probably be +4 maybe going into next week, which is I mean a decent gap. Just go out to Atlanta and do what we can. But yeah, fun race tonight. Felt like me and Fody had the best long run cars the whole night. It was just kind of we were playing chicken with each other those last 30 laps. It seemed like to see who could save the most, and I don't think I had to waste too much getting by my two Cup Series teammates there, and Garrison and Weeks. But yeah, I don't know. It was close going into three that last lap. I just told Fody, I was like, I wanted to drive it in there hard enough to where it forced you to drive it in there hard, then maybe I could get a run on you and exit. But there's a few times off four he got pretty close, kind of gave me a glimmer of hope, but we were just too tight down in 1 and 2 to really do anything with it. But fun night. I love Auto Club, but always a good race. Glad to get a good finish, and hopefully we can go next week and put it in the final four.
Yeah, man, you come up here and talk to us so much. Sounds like you're losing your voice a little bit. But yeah, 2 races left. You think you got a good shot to go for dual championships this season in Elite and Cup Series and the B car?
I mean, I don't know. There's a long way to go. Hopefully, I can get one of them at least. But yeah, my voice. I've been sick-ish for like a week and a half, and then finally last night, for whatever reason, it just kind of started kicking in real good. So hopefully, I feel a little better tomorrow morning when I wake up because I feel like some dog, you know what, right now. But still, fun to be out here racing. Now I'm gonna go hopefully see Mac Jones put up like 15 and a half points, just 15 and a half.
Well, alrighty, Tate. We won't keep you too long. Anybody you want to thank out there tonight, and go out and have a great run in Atlanta. Maybe come back and talk to us with a win. Make me look really smart since I picked you at the start of the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate you picking me. I've been pretty dog in this B car most of the season, but I'm pretty bad at Phoenix. So I mean, it take some luck there, but be cool to just get there. And yeah, thanks to Chad and all the other admin that put up with all of us week in, week out. And Belly Up Sports, Brent Wentz, Days Gone By. Go check out his Etsy shop. He's got a link in his Twitter. If you're still listening to me and you aren't following him on Twitter yet, I don't know where your priorities are, but you need to get them in a row. So yeah, thank you guys for watching us race fake race cars for an hour and 20 minutes, and we'll catch y'all next week.
All right, thanks, Tate. Go get better there for Wednesday night.
I'll try.
And we got the winner. No surprise. The first guy to lock himself into the playoffs is the guy who won the championship in the A season. It's going to come back and try to do it again here in the B season. Seems like these B cars, Fody, nobody really can get to you. So take us through your night and how you close the deal there at the end.
Yeah, it was a fun night. I really like this kind of racing where you're having to just balance the right side tire wear from the right front to the right rear. Thought it was an okay setup, but it did get really hard to pass once things kind of got filed out. And I was struggling with that a lot on the early run. I just didn't really have the quali pace and started 7th. And then had to go through basically the whole Pro Edge team, barring Tate, I guess. But no, just kind of picking and choosing when to make the moves, and then having the cautions fall when they did. Got another spot or two on the few restarts we had, and got to the lead when I felt I needed it most there. And then we got another yellow, and some guys stayed out. And we had to drive back through the field again. But after that, I mean, I was just telling Garrison and them watching, I think it was 3 different guys cycle through behind me. I didn't really have a long run where I was leading and having to dictate the pace. So I was a little worried I was going to be going too hard. And Garrison got up there, and then he faded, and then Weeks got up there, and then he faded. And then once I saw Tate come through everybody and get to second, I figured I was done, knowing how good Tate saves. I mean, he gave it a good shot. He definitely had me guessing on which line to choose. I had to adjust a little bit higher in 1 and 2 the last few laps. And I almost fenced it a good couple of times out of 4 pushing. So no, it was a great race. Tight there in the end, but we'll take the win and try and go for this championship.
Yeah, man, now that you're locked in, locked yourself in, second race here in the round, how are you feeling your chances in Phoenix?
Well, I guess the closest comparison would be New Hampshire, what we just had, kind of a flat, shortish track. And a few of those guys looked really good. I struggled a lot at New Hampshire, so the confidence could be higher. We'll have to practice a little bit now for Phoenix, but there's a couple guys that I think are definitely going to have an advantage if they make it into Phoenix. But we'll see when we get there. Right now, we'll try and go out and win Atlanta next week, and then all eyes will be on Phoenix. So.
Well, you referenced it there about, what happened in New Hampshire, but another little wrinkle in all that is we got the new build coming out tomorrow. So things will change quite a bit probably with the setups and with what the cars do and whatnot. So Phoenix will probably be something different than what we had in New Hampshire even. But anybody you want to thank tonight and come back and talk to us again in Atlanta, don't just take the week off.
Yeah, well, I got to thank the L&M guys. They all actually had a really good night, especially Hank. He was having fits with it early on, started 21st, and tonight was pretty important for him. He was able to drive all the way up to 4th, and I think if that was 10 laps longer, he would have got another spot. So huge shout out to him to capitalize there, make up some valuable points. Also, Dylan, Thomas, and David starting 17th and 18th, going up 13th to 14th. Heck of a drive from everybody. Look forward to getting everyone up there next week. I also got to thank Days Gone By and Blue Egg, as always, for being on the car. I got to say, ever since Days Gone By came on last season, this Xfinity car has gotten faster. So shout out to them. Shout out to you guys for putting on these broadcasts. I think the Monday nights are my favorite to watch back, barring the results. But, yeah, so y'all keep doing what you're doing. We'll try and be back up here next week.
Yeah, Nick and I are trying to lobby for some more races, so we'll see some more series. We'll see what happens moving forward. But like I said, come back and see us next week, and congrats on the win and locking into the Final Four.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, alrighty there, Nick. We saw a good race, timely caution for us to have some good strategies, some different strategies. Saw Fody get the win with Tate, Garrison, Hank, Tooker round out the top 5, Weeks, Green, Burrell, Frankenfield, and Wyatt. What are you expecting to see going into Atlanta? And I'm sure we'll see some desperate moves next week like we saw with Chad tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because I don't think there's really, I mean Ethan's had a great season, but I still don't think there's like a clear favorite in this championship. It's so close and anything could happen. I mean, all it takes is one bad race by one of these guys, and we got a completely different playing field going into the finale. So I don't know. It's still anybody's game, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next week.
Yep, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It was the Byrd Racing 150 at Fontana, and it was the SMRI Productions Grand National Series live here on the Elite Network. Thank all our sponsors, everybody at C2 Freight, Blue Egg, Response Energy, everybody who helps make this happen. Days Gone By Championship, they're the ones who are the sponsor of that. Thank everybody at Elite, Chad, our producer, Ryan Gavel was here with us tonight. Come back and see us next week and tell Elite on Twitter that this is the best broadcast team that there is.